more.
But I'm thinking you probably should have had this video because you're thinking from a kid's standpoint, and I'm clearly the mom.
Well, I have godchildren and nieces and nephews around the world, and
okay, but I'm saying so you've been
okay.
Y'all,
this is the point we're coming from.
Hey, you know the because to break this dead flow. Hey, right now, I need all the because to break this dead flow. Hey, right now.
What up, gang? It's DJ
and Mama Bree,
and we're at you with a video. And
let me start.
Okay.
Today we're gonna talk about families, and wherever it goes, it just goes. We just gonna let it flow.
So the topic is family in general.
Just family.
And there's not many videos with me and Mom Bree together. So this is a kind of a cool moment.
It is.
We get to see kind of what our energy's like and where our point of view on things and all that jazz. So, and
I just want to start off with communication within the family unit. I personally think as a mother, family communication starts at home.
Can I ask you?
You know, teaching your kids to communicate with you, letting them be free to communicate with you, and keeping that platform open. I just have been a strong believer of that. I used to have family meetings on Sundays. Sunday dinner was a time for family meetings and talks.
And some good food.
Yeah. And that would be the time our DJ can tell me what Love did all week. Love could tell me what DJ did all week. You remember those meetings?
Yeah, we used to. It was a moment to tattletale and or just tell what you did, or just kind of talk about how things are going in the house, or if you don't like a certain blah blah blah, or how your week went, or how school was, or whatever. So it was kind of just like left everything on the table to be like, hey, this was happening, this was going on, Mom. I'm checking in with you. You know, blah blah blah. And
also at times then your kids ask questions, you know, and we have to, as parents, we have to pay attention to our kids and snoop around their bedrooms.
No, I wouldn't say snoop.
Well, I did snoop. Not snoop, well, but I went in the see. I would pull y'all drawers out.
You have every right to do that when someone is living.
So I wouldn't call it snooping because it's all of it belongs to me. I was just checking in.
You're checking in because there also, I think, it's important to feel like your kids have some ownership of their things and the things that they in their private space. I think that's really important. I valued that a lot as a kid. Like, not that I was trying to hide anything, but like that something was mine, you know, and like I felt like I had some responsibility of holding.
What I mean, like looking through, like.
Well, obviously, if you find a suicide note or like a note, a poem or a journal.
I'm thinking you probably should have had this video because you're thinking from a kid's standpoint, and I'm clearly the mom.
Well, I have godchildren and nieces and nephews around the world, and
okay, but I'm saying so you've been
okay.
Y'all,
this is the point. We're coming from different points of view. You know, like I don't have kids, so I don't know what I would do if I had a kid and they had their own room and they had things in their own. But I also think there is something really special about a kid creating who they are and like having their own space.
I get that, but I also was that type of parent that I did look around y'all room.
You should, and I'm not saying you shouldn't. However, there is some like trust and boundaries.
Well, I didn't do that. I didn't care about that.
I don't know, but I'm not a parent. Maybe I'd probably be the most snooping ass parent ever.
Well, I didn't think that way. Well, anyway. And also, back to communication. Communication is horrible within the family units, period. I mean,
for some families.
For a lot of families. We can agree to disagree, and I'm just making this video because it's really been on my heart regarding people communicating with each other, even anywhere. Just communicating, just improving at communicating, and always be where people can confront you about things. Because sometimes people don't feel that they can come to people. But always be open enough to hear. And sometimes you are wrong. Sometimes you're just wrong. Sometimes you're just all wrong.
You mean as you, the parent?
Anybody.
Oh.
As a person. Like, some people think everything they do is right. And when you go to talk to them, they really don't step back and say, let me see what you're talking about. Let me look back at myself.
Well, because people don't listen. People don't listen. They spend more time thinking about what they're going to say next than actually listening to what that person's saying. You know?
Right. And they don't want to, a lot of people don't like to see themselves. Like, if someone keeps telling you the same thing, or you constantly are being confronted with the same thing, sometimes you need to step back and take a look at yourself.
There's obvious something there that person's...
Right. And sometimes we don't want to do that.
It's hard. It's hard because you have to
especially when you're a Christian.
Yourself.
When people claim to be Christians and they can't communicate in a loving manner, you can get things across in a loving, effective manner.
Yeah.
You don't have. It's the way you say things to people.
It's always
and I'm also learning that too. So I'm just not up here like I got it all right. I am also learning that it's the way you do things.
It's the delivery, not the message.
Right. My mom used to always tell me that it's not how you do. It's not what you do, it's how you do it.
Yeah.
And so I am learning that. So I want to share that with you all. Just communicating better.
But also as far as like a family goes, I feel like we put our parents on a pedestal, so we feel like there's certain things we can't ask them or can't tell them. And I think it's important. I think there comes a certain age as a kid or as just a child of a parent, no matter how old you are, there comes a point where you realize that your parents are just human, and that you kind of take them off of that mom or dad pedestal and you put them on that like very human pedestal, which kind of reality checks you in the fact that, like, you know, my mom was growing up when she was raising me and my sister, you know, she was my age now, younger, you know, so like she was just growing up just how I was growing up, you know, she was doing that while she was raising me. So although I held her on a pedestal, there's some mistakes that she made that of course she's going to make because she's a human, you know.
But I held it down, though.
You held it down.
I did that.
There's a lot of good you did. I'm very, very, very.
Yeah,
very,
and you know,
very
as parents, we're going to make mistakes. I'm the first to say there's some things I wish I would have done, could have, or would have done different. But you know, at that time and place, like all of us, we do what we think is best at that time. Moment. We do what we think is best,
which is fine
at that time, and it worked out anyway. But like I said, I just, you know, we just need to, if anybody's out there having trouble with communicating, you know, just pray and ask God to give you the words to communicate, because communication is so helpful, because we have so many things going on in families, molestation, incest. Because these kids, it's sad, but it is true. And because these kids they're scared to talk to their parents, because sometimes the parents put the men before the kids. And you know, even if you do have the young teenage daughters or whatever, and you have a boyfriend or whatever staying with you, teach those kids how to dress appropriate. They shouldn't be laying around the house half dressed. That's inappropriate. You teach them things.
There's two sides of that. I'm sorry, I have to.
No, I don't think so.
No, there's two sides of that.
What?
There's the side of teach your kids how to be appropriate, but also teach adults how to be appropriate towards kids as well. Because a grown man cannot help if a young girl dresses provocatively. However, a grown man can help how they react to a woman, because you're giving an excuse away that like it's the child's fault or it's the girl's fault. But like, if a girl wants to wear a tank top and shorts, she should be allowed to without a man coming on to her. So we have to teach our young boys how to not be assholes and how to not be perverted people who think that they can take advantage of a woman because they have a skirt on. That's not the point of that. So yeah, teach women how to be appropriate, but then how much if the sacrifice? I would tell women, shut up, stop, sit there, don't be heard, be a freaking mummy, like wrap yourself up, and then like the men can just do whatever they want. It's putting it all on the girl.
I mean, I understand.
That's not cool. Men have to hold themselves accountable, and we have to hold men accountable, because they're the ones out here making the choices, and they're the adults.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
They're the adults. That's true. And we allow, that's this R. Kelly shit, we allow them to do the things, and then we're like, well, dang, that happened. It's like, of course it happened. We made that person feel comfortable enough to get away with something that is that disgusting.
Right. But also, parents still we need to teach our daughters.
Yes, but also you're not going to be around your daughters or your sons all the time.
Right. Yeah, but that, if they're grown, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But when they're
when they're little, you're not going to be around them all the time.
That's why you got to teach them. That's why some kids are not being taught.
But even if you teach them, they can do what they want to do. You know how many friends I have who come from good families?
Not children, not in my house.
Well,
Love didn't do it.
Yeah, Love didn't, but Love made that choice to not do that.
No, because I would have bust Love's ass.
Yeah, Mom, but some parents bust their kids' ass, and the kids still do it.
Well, then I would have bust their ass some more.
Okay, but it's the conscious choice that the kid makes to be a good, decent person. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You know? Right.
But you still have to teach your kids stuff.
Yeah, I'm saying you got to pray that the kid also makes good choices for themselves.
Right, but you have to teach them.
Because there's some kids who come from terrible households who don't learn anything, who have more common sense than some people who come from beautiful,
I agree with that too. But you still have to teach your girls. Like I taught Love.
And you have to teach your boys how to not be little dickheads.
Right.
Yeah. That's important. It's a two-way street.
It is, but I still think We got to teach our daughters to talk and tell us that things happen.
Well, yeah, they do need to be taught to speak up.
Sometimes girls are not doing absolutely nothing, and men come on to them. And again, that's communicating. Because I've seen some mothers just ignore these little children cries for help, and they're telling that they were touch inappropriate, and then some moms just turn their cheek.
Yeah. That happens a lot because it's easier to be ignorant.
So those are the things. So whoever's doing it the correct way, that's not what this is about. I am talking to those that ignore the cries, ignore the child that's reporting things to them. Those are the parents.
For some parents, it's easier to turn a blind eye because you don't have to deal with it than actually confront it and say this is wrong and then have to tear the family apart. But if my kid went through something and it came between my child that I created and my family being torn apart, by family, because my child is that important.
Okay.
And then I will pick then we will pick up the pieces later. However it comes around, I'm not sacrificing my child's mental health and my child's well-being for the fact that I want my uncles to be cool at the family reunion. Fuck a family reunion. My child is suffering because of your choices.
Right.
I don't care about that. I won't go to the family reunion. My child will feel safe wherever they go.
Because it's our responsibility as parents to make sure our kids are safe and that we are hearing our kids.
Yes.
And that's, again, go back to communication and making sure that we are actually listening and hearing our children and just being there for them, because at the end of the day, your parents are the ones that you look up to protect you.
Yeah.
When you're children.
Yeah.
Period. So, but yeah, so just basically, so
that's like a tangent we just went on that kind of topic. But there's also.
Well, I'm glad we touched it because you had some very good points.
And I think that
because I do sometimes, I look at, because I'm a female.
Okay.
So I know we could be very manipulative. We could be a piece of work.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
I know that certain things my mom had to pop me about. Like, you don't sit on men's laps. You don't straddle men. I couldn't be in men's faces. I couldn't accept anything from men. I couldn't even, my mom would pop me.
But you want to know the irony of that is that protection thing is that it's under the assumption that every man is nasty like that. And I think that's what's tainted is this, like, if I have a niece, my niece can say
that's
how tainted we are and how messed up society we are.
That's how,
but you have to protect your kid. But it's like every person is not thinking about, like, if a granddaughter sits on her grandpa's lap, he's enjoying his granddaughter.
Right.
And now we've taken away that because we have to protect our kids. I get that. It's just unfortunate.
I was definitely raised like that. My mom did not play no straddling, like sitting across a man's lap. Like, now, if it's my daddy or uncle or something like that, I already knew better. So I already knew that I had to sit on their lap. If I sat on their lap, both legs have to be closed. And I had to be sitting on their leg. Yeah. I couldn't be sitting on them with my legs open or nothing like that. I had to wear shorts under my dresses. Stuff like that. My mom raised me really
well, and that's for protection. That's literally for protection.
And maybe my mama experienced something because she was really tight with us. So I think I was tight with you in love too, because that's what I was taught. But I do know that in my mom's household, we communicated, and my mom would tell us if someone touches you, it is wrong, let me know. And I think also it's a way to do that, because sometimes as parents we'll say, if so-and-so touch my kids, we'll do so-and-so to them. That's a scary area, because sometimes your kids will be afraid to tell you because they don't want you to get in trouble.
They're going to kill mom, blah, blah.
That's where I was at. I never wanted to tell my mom certain things that happened to me because, my mom gonna go to jail. She gonna kill so-and-so. Then she gonna go to jail. Then I ain't gonna have no mama. Then the whole family gonna be mad at me. That's how kids think.
And it's so sad that we have to do it like that, because still we're protecting the enemy. We're protecting the doer of the wrong.
That's right.
And then the victims just have to live in silence, which is the whole issue with this, any kind of topic like that, is that, like, we work so hard to try to save what our family's supposed to look like or what society thinks we're supposed to be, and a lot of people are suffering, and then you're passing down this generation to generation, and then it's just causing a perpetual cycle of bullshit for no reason.
I think you'll make a good psychologist.
I know.
Yeah, you probably need to really do that, because you can shed some insight on a lot of things in a family unit because it's so real. It's, you know, and like I said, communication is just so, and I guess I see it at work. You know, communication can help a whole lot, especially when it allows another person to know where you're coming from, and also allow that person to even apologize if the situation calls for that. And sometimes you could be holding a grudge or something, and that person probably don't even know why you're holding a grudge. And maybe if you communicate that you can allow that person the opportunity to say, "Hey, I'm sorry. I apologize."
And
people do
and can change. People do and can change. I think we forget that sometimes, is that, you know, we take people for where we were hurt, and obviously we're like, okay, you hurt me, this is where I'm leaving you. But people do change. People can change.
Yeah,
not everyone does change, but I think I'm a firm believer that people can change, and they do. It's just
right. Not everyone does, but they can.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I agree.
Can change.
I agree.
Whatever.
I agree. I strongly agree. So. I strongly agree. So I know y'all gonna be blowing up these comments with stuff. I haven't been doing segments for a while, but I should be back trying. I'll try to come back and try to do some more segments. Sometimes my segments get long and they get like deep like this, because these segments be this is reality. This is real. But it's real though. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. You could talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but I like to share some goodness about these different situations and how you can attack these head on and do better. If you have a problem with communicating, try it. You know, and also if you don't know how to communicate, you can go see a therapist. Seek therapy. A lot of us don't go to therapists. We don't seek therapy. It's good. I'm telling you, it helps because they're very biased. They don't have the video stop. Sorry. But anyway, we were talking about therapy. Therapy is good. I recommend it.
Therapy is
And if
great.
y'all have any questions, or y'all want to do a part 2 of this, you know, go ahead and put those comments down there.
Any other topics? Talk about
other topics y'all want to talk about. I really don't know it all, but I'll give y'all what I got, and I'll give it to you with love, honey.
And I don't know it all either. I just happen to be her son.
He just happened to be over here today.
And I work in mental health, so.
And you?
I work in mental health.
Oh, yeah, he does work in mental health. And he's really, really good with mental health and the family units and awareness. And it's so helpful. It's so helpful. I tell you what, it gets me through today with dealing with being on dialysis and being in kidney failure. It really helps. Therapy really, really helps. And it helps to communicate.
Who's your therapist? Who's your therapist?
Don't worry about it. Anyway, Dr. Gupta, she's gonna be my therapist
soon. Thank the Lord. She's a really good therapist. Yeah. Well, she's a psychiatrist and not a therapist.
Yeah. But anyway, it's good. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
Get your brain checked, people. It's important you use it every day, all the time. It's like it's like if you use a car all the time, you need an oil change, it needs a tune-up.
Yeah.
You use your brain non-stop.
Just for a better you.
My therapist is awesome. I saw him last week.
All right, you guys. So we're going to sign off right now. So y'all know what to do.
Hit the bell to be notified. Subscribe. And like this video.
And give it 2 thumbs up, y'all. Y'all know Mom, we do 2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. 2. And I love you all.
Love you guys. Y'all be good and keep it real.